Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back. Believe it or not, it is Tuesday, November 26th, and it is 10:27 p.m. Eastern Time. So what we're going to be doing is covering the Q posts from the last couple days. So that is what I'm going to do in the first video, and I'm not sure how long that's going to take, so I don't know if I will be doing another video today or not. I'm planning on doing 2 tomorrow, and I do apologize that I've been absent for several days this week. I've just had some situations with family and so forth, health and everything else that has had to be dealt with. So anyway, I'm not foreseeing anything in the near future, so I'm hoping to be able to get caught up. And I know you guys are probably thinking like, where the heck is she? So that's where I've been. All right, let's get into this now. And I do have just a couple people to thank here. Coffee donors, Catherine Chapman, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Anon, who said, gobble, gobble, happy Thanksgiving. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you too. And thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. There's been no new Patreon or no new snail mail in the last couple days. So, thank you guys, all of you that do support this channel. It is very much appreciated. All right, let's get into Q. We are going to be covering the Q posts from November 24th, 25th, and 26th. So let's get to it. Now, I know many of you have probably been out there and listening to other people that report on Q, and that is always a good thing, because I think from the a multitude of counsel comes wisdom. So, the more people that you listen to, the more you pick up little things here and there from everyone, because everyone tends to look at things just a little bit differently. So there you go. All right. So this is the first one. 3626 is the drop. General Flynn was targeted and silenced because he knew too much. Well, we know that, and we do have a link here to go to. And also, Q said, targeted and silenced, gag, for a reason? Well, obviously we know it's for a reason, don't we? And we know that when Q asks us questions, they're not really questions. They're usually statements asked in a question sort of way. But we know that he is making that as a fact. He has been targeted and silenced for a reason. Pain coming, Q. So let's take a look at what Q is directing us to here. And it's this. And this is by General Flynn. You can tell by that blue check mark, this is really his Twitter account. And he says, RT, spirit cooking with Nevery Hillary, Y, drain the swamp, NYPD, ready to make arrests in Wiener case. Well, that's a wow. But apparently they really are ready to make arrests. Eric Prince, New York Police Department, ready to make arrests in Anthony Weiner case. Eric Prince said that according to one of his sources, the New York Police Department was ready to announce the warrants and the additional arrests they were making in the Weiner case. Now, let's see. Q doesn't direct us to go out and look at this, but I think that it would be probably a good idea to do that. I'm certainly not going to read it all, but it says Blackwater founder and former Navy SEAL Eric Prince told Breitbart News Daily on Sirius XM that according to one of his well-placed sources in the New York Police Department, the NYPD wanted to do a press conference announcing the warrants and the additional arrests they were making in the Anthony Weiner investigation, but received huge pushback from the Justice Department. Prince began by saying he has no problem believing reports that the FBI was highly confident multiple foreign agencies hacked Hillary Clinton's private email server. Yeah, right, that's what it was. I mean, it's not like the foreign intelligence agencies leave a thank you note after they've hacked and stolen your data, Prince said to Sirius XM host Alex Marlow. Prince claimed he has insider knowledge of the investigation and would help explain why FBI Director James Comey had to announce he was reopening the investigation into Clinton's email server last week. Because of Wienergate and the sexting scandal, the New York Police Department started investigating it. Through a subpoena, through a warrant, they searched his laptop and, sure enough, found those 650,000 emails. They found way more stuff than just more information pertaining to the inappropriate sexting the guy was doing, Prince claimed. They found State Department emails. They found a lot of other really damning criminal information, including money laundering, including the fact that Hillary went to this sex island with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Clinton went there more than 20 times. Hillary Clinton went there at least 6 times, he said. The amount of garbage that they found in these emails of criminal activity by Hillary, by her immediate circle, and even by other Democratic members of Congress was so disgusting, they gave it to the FBI and they said, we're going to go public with this if you don't reopen the investigation and you don't do the right thing with timely indictments, Prince explained. I know, and this is from a very well-placed source of mine, at 1PP, One Police Plaza in New York, the NYPD wanted to do a press conference announcing the warrants and the additional arrests they were making in the investigation, and they've gotten huge pushback to the point of coercion from the Justice Department, with the Justice Department threatening to charge someone that had been unrelated in the accidental heart attack death of Eric Garner almost 2 years ago. That's the level of pushback the Obama Justice Department is doing against actually seeking justice in the email and other related criminal matters, Prince said. There's 5 different parts of the FBI conducting investigations into these things with constant downdrafts from the Obama Justice Department. So in the, I hope, unlikely and very unfortunate event that Hillary Clinton is elected president, we will have a constitutional crisis that we've not seen since, I believe, 1860, Prince declared. Marlow asked Prince to clarify these revelations. Now, this is quite evidently an old article. I'm trying to see here. 4th of November, 2016. So, very interesting. Yeah, I wonder what happened to all those arrests. Because we haven't seen any. Says this kind of evil, this kind of true dirt on Hillary Clinton. Look, you don't have to make any judgments. Just release the emails, he urged. Just dump them. Let them out there. Let people see the light of truth. Prince dismissed the claims of people like Clinton campaign CEO John Podesta and DNC chair Donna Brazile that some of the damaging emails already released by WikiLeaks were fabricated, noting that forensic analysis done shows that indeed they are not fabricated. They are really legitimate. This is stuff coming right off a hard drive that was owned by Weiner and his wife Huma Abedin, Hillary's closest advisor for the last 20 years, he said, of the new bombshells. This is not some hacker or anyone else. This is a laptop seized from a warrant in a criminal investigation. Prince confirmed that based on his information, Abedin is most likely looking at jail time unless she cuts a deal with prosecutors. So what's happening to all this? You know, like this is from 2016 and all this came out. And I thought for sure there were going to be arrests made in reference to the laptop and what was found on it. And I personally believe that some of the suicides in the New York Police Department were really about this. I don't know. I have no proof of that. I'm just saying I really strongly feel that. Now, of course, it doesn't matter if I strongly feel it or not, unless there's evidence. Doesn't matter, but just seems a little odd to me, and I'm sure to you as well. So let's go back here. Now, why is Q bringing this up? Well, I'm going to take you over here. This is by Diopresso Liber at SunQ2 on Twitter, and he said, he's very, very good at decodes, and said Q post 3626 reminds us of why General Flynn was targeted. Again, he knows where the bodies are buried. Pain is coming. This is one of the many reasons I've always had the highest respect for General Flynn. He laid it all on the line for patriots and for victims of the cabal. We knew once he mentioned the WikiLeaks email, spirit cooking, and NYPD making arrests in the Weiner case that we would that he would be target number 2 right behind real Donald Trump of the D state. He knew, yet he didn't back down. Remember this tweet from General Flynn? I'll never forget it. I was pumping my fist and yelling, finally, finally, someone in our government has the cojones to call out and expose these pedophiles. Hillary and her pedo friends freaked out. Sex crimes with children. And I'm sure they did, because this is the You Decide. NYPD blows whistle on new Hillary emails, money laundering, sex crimes with children, etc. Must read. So yeah, I'm sure they didn't like Flynn too much when he came out with that tweet. The deep state decides to try and take General Flynn down no matter what. Q reminding us he was targeted and they sought a gag order in his case so he could not talk about anything even remotely related to his charges and the investigation. Q has reminded us time and time again that General Flynn is a patriot and he is safe. It's just a matter of time. He will be cleared of all charges and he will be part of Trump admin version 2, and I have a feeling that he will be responsible for creating an office that oversees digital soldiers. Could be. Now, we're going to go on to the next one, and it is this, and it says, this is drop 3627, Q will use original photos of POTUS belongings to prove authenticity of Q's next trip code. So Q is letting us know here in advance that there will be a new trip code, and it says future trip re-verify. So he'll have to re-verify himself so that we'll know it's really him. He can't just show up with a new trip code and start posting, because how would we know? So he said future trip re-verify notebook, pen, watch, desk. Now these are all things belonging to POTUS which have been posted by Q, and when you did a picture lookup, these were completely original pictures. They were not found on the internet anywhere, for those people that think that this is a LARP. And it says Anon interaction coming soon. So there hasn't been any back and forth action between the Anons and Q for a long time. Remember, there used to be question and answer and so forth, and Q used to, people would bring up things and Q would tell us basically where to look or give us a hint or what have you. So I've missed that. I don't know if you have, but I have. So anyway, let's go over here. And again, this is Dio Presso Liber. Q told us how Anons will be able to verify his trip code. He will apparently post his trip code along with a photo of POTUS Mont Blanc pen, his presidential notebook, his watch, and his desk. What's previously posted photos, okay, that doesn't make sense grammatically, but what's previously posted photos with all of these items in the photos to give confirmation that he is indeed connected directly to POTUS. I also think that these items may somehow contain the sequence of numbers and letters in his trip code. We will have to wait and see. Also, the 6 dashes in the post may indicate that the notebook, pen, or the notebook, watch, pen, and desk will have a number 6, or will have a 6 number or letter sequence correlating with the trip code to help confirm that the Q trip code is authentic. Q also saying Anon interaction coming soon. Q will return to interact with Anons on Q Research Board on 8kun, like the old days. This also implies forthcoming question and answer sessions with Anons. In my opinion, these are fascinating to be a part of as an Anon and to watch if you're lurking. And I would absolutely agree with that. They are fascinating. I know I learned so much from those question and answer because a lot of times people would ask something that we're all wondering about, and Q would give us a clue. A Q clue. All right, now here we're going on to the next one. It is drop 3628, and excellent compilation showing the hypocrisy, duplicity, lies, and propaganda of the mainstream media. as if we need any more examples, but it's always good because there's always new people coming on board, and you tell them that, you know, all of the media is complicit in this, and they're kind of like, what? No, that can't be. And it does sound a little bit, I mean, to us, it sounds just normal because we've known it for so long. But for new people, they're like, what? How is that possible? Well, it's more than possible. It's happening. All right. And Q goes on. We're going to take a look at this link here. And Q goes on to say, enemy of the people, you are the news now. Facts matter. Q. Facts most definitely matter. To everybody but the mainstream media, it seems. Now, we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to have a sip of this to quell any cough that might be trying to come up. Sometimes they just sneak up on me, so I gotta, you know, take preventative action. All right, this by IET. Ladies and gentlemen, Anons present to you the fake news, their duplicity, their hypocrisy, their agenda, their coordinated efforts, and outright lies, side by side for easy dissemination, just like Q asked. A thread. So, let's take a look, shall we? Of course we shall. Let's look at this now. This from Philly.com. Over here we have Melania in a beautiful white dress, and here we have Hillary in a white pantsuit. And on this side it says DNC fashion. Hillary Clinton looked presidential in an all-white pantsuit. Well, she looked presidential. This was on July 28th, 2016. Yes, now this was written on July 19th, 2016. Melania Trump's RNC fashion, a scary statement. Are you kidding me? This woman's wardrobe and fashion sense are impeccable. Impeccable. I have never seen her when she didn't look like $1 million. Now, I didn't like what she was wearing when she greeted the wagon carrying the big Christmas tree, but that's just a personal thing. But she always looks like $1 million, always. So I don't know. To me, this just shows blatantly. Over here, it's Hillary. She's just got a plain white pantsuit on. Oh, but she's looking presidential. But Hillary, or Melania Trump, she's got a beautiful white dress on, and it's a scary statement. Well, what kind of a scary statement is it? I don't get that. I don't think it's so scary. Do you? Maybe because it's white. Maybe they're, oh, well, see, let me see. Trump's foreignness stands in stark contrast to her husband's Make America Safe Again, Make America Great Again, sloganeering, which he plans to accomplish with his anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim, anti-Black Lives Matter platform. In other words, anti-all things brown, as some might say. So Hillary wears white, and she's looking presidential. Melania wears white, and she's a white nationalist, a Nazi, wants to get rid of everything brown, blah, blah, blah. See how that works? Yeah. Well, we've seen it for a while now, and it's pretty sickening. So, I don't know, and let's take a look at another one here. Here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rand Paul, Ilhan Omar, and a bipartisan group of lawmakers sent a letter to Trump urging the president to remove U.S. troops from Syria. And then what over here it says, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez learns to love war, blast Trump's Syria withdrawal. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. And here it says, Trump is confused about social media. I don't think so. You know why I don't think so? Because if he had not used social media in the way that he has, he would not be sitting as president right now. Really. Because most of his support came from people online, people on Twitter, people seeing him on social media, because he would actually engage people in, conversation and so forth. Well, it's not easy to have a conversation with the left. Actually, it's not easy at all, but you know what I mean. So, and here on CNN, this shows Teddy Roosevelt, and it says why a presidential candidate's health isn't a voter's right to know. And then over here, CNN, what we know about Donald Trump's health. And you know, they made it a huge deal, a massive deal about Donald Trump's health, and he's absolutely fine. But of course, with Teddy Roosevelt, CNN says, well, a presidential candidate's health isn't a voter's right to know. All right. Confused much, CNN? And here, 5 very good, okay, like both are from Slate. Both from Slate. This one says 5 very good reasons to keep the Electoral College, and this side says the Electoral College is an instrument of white supremacy and sexism. These are the same news sources. Unbelievable. And I don't even know what that's about. All right. Well, you know what? There's a lot of stuff in this this thread, and obviously I will be uploading the link to it to Patreon in the notes, and I also have notes from my last video that I forgot to upload to Patreon. I'm sorry. So I will be uploading those as soon as I am done here tonight. All right, let's go back now and see. So yeah, Q is saying enemy of the people. You are the news now. They can't even get, they change their opinion in the exact same, you know, media format. Like if it's CNN, they're saying 2 completely opposite things at different times, depending on who it is, right? And they all seem to have that issue. All right, and this is the next one, 3629. Q requests new board on 8kun, and Q is saying new board created pending approval from CodeMonkey, and it's going to be Project D Comms. So they're making a new board. I think this is probably the board that will be interactive with the Anons. So it is going to be created, and it is pending approval. So probably they're wanting, probably that's going to come out around the same time as everything else comes out, because they probably want to back and forth, be able to have that ability to be back and forth with the Anons when everything drops. That would be my surmisal anyway. Whether I'm right or not, I don't know, but that's what I would assume. And this 3630, make Iran great again. And you'll see that we have someone here. It's obviously a female because they have a headscarf on. Restart, loves Q, thanks Q. Restart will make Iran great again. Hashtag QAnon. Hashtag restart opposition. Make America great again. Make Iran great again. Together, we are strong. So again, Q is pointing out this is a worldwide movement. Worldwide. It says we stand united. Where we go one, we go all. And then it says national security picture upload 1.v1. So I would imagine he's talking about this picture right here. And it was uploaded from national security. So this could even be an intel operator that is there in Iran. We don't know who this person is, but wouldn't surprise me since this is coming from national security. So I don't know. And let's come down here, and it says Q supporter in South Korea. Yep, that's what we have here. And again, we stand united. Where we go one, we go all. National security picture upload 2.v1. So again, this could be somebody that's, in intel. I don't know who this person is, but they're holding up a Q sign, and it has been uploaded, and it's been uploaded from national security. So who knows where this came from or who that person actually is. But again, Q is showing us that this movement is worldwide. And remember when Q was listing places where support for Q was public and places where it wasn't. And China, it was not. There was people supporting Q in China, but not publicly. And there was people in South Korea supporting Q, but not publicly. Well, obviously, we've just seen that South Korea is public now because he's standing out there in public with that. So there you go. And it's worldwide. And Iran, I mean, that's phenomenal. So let's go on now. And this is drop 3632. And it says a collage of the media's obsession with Q, a snippet from a CIA memo on its media strategy. Now, this right here is, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger, because I know you tiny phone people. You're not tiny people with phones. You're tiny phone people. Just have to make that plain to people, because they might be thinking, why are all these little people watching with their phones? No, they're not little people. They're tiny phone people. The phone's tiny, not them. Some of them might be tiny. I don't know. But the vast majority of them, I would assume, are normal size. All right. So this says 5, the agency's posture toward the media is basically defensive, reactive, and tongue-tied. What we say is no comment. That disclosure was wrong and outrageous. Next, we wring our hands, send emissaries out to brief key people in the administration and Congress and correct the record, then hunker back, awaiting the next blow. Maybe it's time for an offensive as well as a defense and an attempt to get things in better balance. Here are some personal thoughts as to do's and don'ts on this score. And I don't know what this is. It says all portions are classified secret. So I assume that when it says the agency is the CIA. So, and it's saying that their posture towards the media is defensive, reactive, and tongue-tied. They say no comment, that disclosure was wrong and outrageous. Next, we wring our hands, send emissaries out to brief key people in the administration and Congress and correct the record. So, and we're going to look at, let me see, hopefully, because I need a bigger shot of that. Hang on here. Let me go out to here, and let me find that so that I can get a bigger copy of it, because it's far too small to see. But all right, now this, I believe, just kind of skimming over the headlines and everything, shows a couple things, but I'm just gonna quickly read off some of these. QAnon is a conspiracy theory that won't lie. Here's what they believe and why they're wrong. Rudy Giuliani pushed the Seth Rich conspiracy theory. He also keeps amplifying QAnon accounts. QAnon believers connected Ukraine to the infamous server. The ultimate fringe Trump World Conference, debunking conspiracy theorists who believe the Dayton, Ohio shooting never happened. QAnon slogan spoken from Trump rally podium as FBI warns about conspiracy theory-related violence. Chrissy Teigen slams conspiracy theorists on QAnon for spreading lies about her family. QAnon, the far-right conspiracy movement gaining prominence in Donald Trump's America. Why is it Donald Trump's America? Donald Trump's working for we, the people, and he knows that. At least he knows that, and he regularly says that. You know, the others, they don't know who they're working for themselves, I guess. Well, they're sure not working for Americans. How bots and far left figures spread a lie about Beto O'Rourke and the Odessa shooting. And just all sorts of stuff. FBI starts targeting conspiracy theorists just in time for Epstein to die. All right. Donald Trump's impeachment claims examined. The Trump-Ukraine story shows the power of conspiracy theories. 9 conspiracy theories impeachment will expose and debunk. QAnon conspiracy theorists create headache for Trump campaign. Viral QAnon video shows cult-like followers will believe anything. And you'll notice now that everything is all about it being a cult now. That's the newest thing. So you're seeing that everywhere in the news now. And this to me shows a couple things. It shows obviously the CIA's involvement in the mainstream media, because they are still getting 4 a.m. talking points from somewhere. And Q made it very clear that they were coming from the CIA at one time anyway. I would assume they still are, because all of the media seems to be on task. They seem to be saying the exact same words in the exact same way with the exact same message. So there's that. And there's also the fact that there is a real push to make us believe that Q is a conspiracy theory. Well, just because something's a conspiracy doesn't mean it's wrong, does it? Right? There's lots of conspiracies that have turned out to be right. And so, sure, call it a conspiracy if you want. It's a conspiracy, but it's right. It's factual. So, and this 8chan incels, QAnon, 5 things on the internet demonized by MSM and what they really are. QAnon, the biggest conspiracy theory ever. So, yeah, this is just all much of the same thing. Trump's encouraging QAnon may result in violence. Just ask the FBI. Right. Well, and that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because they were saying that, oh, his encouraging QAnon is going to result in violence. And then you've got Antifa showing up to the Trump rallies and they go, well, see, I told you. They don't, take the time to think that, well, gosh, these people are being paid to, create unrest. Well, more than unrest. They're being paid by Soros groups to do that. But to them, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, well, told you it was going to result in violence. But they never mention that it's not the Trump people, it's not the Q believers that are engaging in the violence at all. No, they'll never tell us that. Although we already know, don't we? Okay, so let's go back now and see what else Q has for us. This is the next one, 3633, list of military intelligence acronyms. And we've got AFIA, AIA, DIA, ESC, ITAC, NOIC, NPIC, NSA, SRD. And I came over here to see what Dio Press or Lieber had, because I could not figure these out. Some of them I know, but AFIA is the Air Force Intelligence Agency. AIA is Air Intelligence Agency. DIA, of course, is Defense Intel Agency. ESC, Emergency Services, I don't know either what that actually is. ITAC, Intelligence Threat and Analysis Center. NOIC, Naval Operations Intel Center, and NPIC, I don't know, NSA, of course we know, and SRD, I'm not sure about that either. If any of you guys are in the military, happen to know what any of these acronyms are, I would appreciate it, and I'm sure all the others that are looking at these posts would appreciate it as well. So if you happen to be in the military or know what some of these are, then put it in the comments below, because I mean, I looked through them. I know lots of other people look through them, so it's helpful to everyone. Okay, so this is the next one, 3634. Democrats have been deliberately selling out our country to foreign entities. Well, isn't that the truth? Okay. Democrats' internal infiltration issues with protecting national security. Deliberate? Well, we know that he's not asking. He's saying that Democrats have an internal infiltration issue with protecting national security. Deliberate? Of course. Do you believe in coincidences? No. DF, and that's Dianne Feinstein, Chinese spy insert 20 plus years. We know that she had a spy that acted as her driver. He was a Chinese spy, and he was with her for 20 plus years. So then we have a link, and this is this is about Dianne Feinstein. Trump mocks Senator Feinstein following reports of an alleged Chinese spy. Trump mocks Senator Feinstein following reports an alleged Chinese spy worked for her. Well, it's not alleged, it's true. This is from August 4th, 2018. And President Donald Trump took aim at the investigation into Russian election meddling Saturday evening at an Ohio rally, then seemed to compare the 2-year probe to a report about an alleged Chinese spy that worked for Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein. After talking about the ongoing trade war with China and tariffs, and that the administration had placed a $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. Okay, I'm sorry. This is like, I'm having a bad night here reading. After talking about the ongoing trade war with China and tariffs that the administration has placed on $200 million worth of Chinese goods, Trump talked about the report, threats to the U.S., and the Russia investigation. Speaking of China, it just came out that the Democratic leader and the leader of the Russia investigation, Dianne Feinstein, had a Chinese spy as her driver for 20 years, Trump told the crowd, and she's leading the Russian investigation, if that's what you call it. How about she's leading the Russia witch hunt? Yeah, that's about right. Feinstein is not running the special counsel investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. It's headed by Robert Mueller and under the authority of U.S. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Feinstein addressed reports Saturday about the alleged spying by posting on Twitter that the situation dated back 5 years ago when the FBI alerted her to the possibility. Oh, right. You've got this guy working for you for 20 years, and it takes the FBI to tell you, and you go, gee, I didn't know. I had no idea. Right. Sure, we all believe that. So I'm not going to get into all this, but that is what Q is letting us know here, that yeah, the Democrats have been infiltrating into the government. They have been infiltrating the government with their spies, and that's a fact. All right, and then we've got the A1 IT scandal. So let's take a look at this. Democrats' IT scandal set to explode with possible plea deal. This was June 6, 2018. I'm ready for something to explode. The curious case of Imran A1, I don't know why, that's a hard name to say for some reason, which sounds like an international spy thriller, is entering its third act. A1 was a congressional IT aide to Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and he was finally fired just after he was arrested trying to fly to Pakistan last summer. A1 and his wife, Hina Alvi, were charged last summer with bank fraud. They now appear posed to strike a plea deal with the Department of Justice. A plea agreement hearing is set for July 3rd before U.S. District Judge Tanya S. Chutkan in Washington. Fox News reported Wednesday, as I've dug deep into this case from my book, Spies in Congress. Oh, and there's Spies in Congress. Oh, yes, there is. Sources have made it clear that the bank fraud charges in this case, though very real, are just a way to hold the defendants. Alleged theft of congressional equipment, massive data breaches of Congress members' emails, likely espionage, and more are all wrapped up in this case that involves data from 40 or more Democratic members of Congress. Sources tell me that the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has been looking into this matter since well before Awan and his crew of Pakistani congressional IT aides were booted off the House computer network in February 2017. Sources also say that investigators were particularly interested in whether anyone else in the congressional offices that all these IT aides worked for was involved in alleged improper activity. This might include Representative Wasserman Schultz, who was the Democrat National Committee DNC chair when she employed Awan. Might also include former Representative Xavier Becerra, who employed Awan when Becerra was chairman of the House Democratic Caucus. Becerra is now California Attorney General. Well, of course he is. So anyway, again, we're not going to get into all the ins and outs of this because we have visited this many times. I would like to know that something's being done about all these things. It seems like all these things kind of blew up and then they blew over. So I don't know what's happening with that, but obviously Q is setting a precedence for us and showing us that there have been spies brought in by members of the Democrat Party. They're bringing them in. And then Omar paid foreign agent. She most certainly is a paid former agent or foreign agent, as is now coming out. So let's take a look at this. Ilhan Omar accused of being a paid agent of Qatar and accessing sensitive info for Iran. Court testimony. This from November 25th. 2019, Representative Ilhan Omar has been accused of being a paid agent of the government of Qatar and using her position in Congress to access sensitive information for the benefit of Iran, according to testimony in a civil suit in Florida. And the thing is, we know she's not working on behalf of Americans. She hates America. She hates Americans. It's very evident. And, you know, the fact that she's been allowed to continue in her position is jaw-dropping to me. Really. I mean, I don't know. It would be like, it's like seeing a serial killer out on the street and saying, hey, come on in for coffee and crumpets, you know. Come on, have a cup of tea with me. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. Why would you invite somebody that hates America, hates Americans, and has all these contacts, and she isn't even who she says she is? And she has all these dubious contacts, but she was allowed to come in and see sensitive material and access to our government. I don't get that. Call me nuts. Many have. But really, it's like, okay, if you know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck, man. Really. All right, so Alan Bender, a Kuwaiti-born Canadian businessman, made the accusations in video conference testimony on October 23rd from Toronto for a civil case filed in Florida against the brother of Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Thani, over allegations the Sheikh ordered his American bodyguard to murder 2 people and that he held his American paramedic hostage. Bender's deposition was reported Monday by Al Arabiya, an explosive testimony made by video link from Toronto, Canada to a Florida district court on October 23rd. Kuwaiti-born Alan Bender claims to have deep ties with governments and royal officials across the Middle East, including Qatar. In his statement, he says he met Qatar's secretary to the Emir, Security Affairs Mohammed bin Al-Almeid bin Abdullah Al Masnad and 2 other senior Qatari officials. The 3 allegedly claimed credit for the meteoric rise of Omar, saying, "If it wasn't for our cash, Ilhan Omar would just be another black Somali refugee in America collecting welfare and serving tables on weekends," according to Bender's sworn deposition. The deposition was obtained by Al Arabiya English and authenticated by the attorney for the plaintiffs. In the testimony, Bender claims to have been asked to recruit American politicians and journalists to be Qatari assets. He says he objected, and the Qatari officials responded by saying that several American politicians and journalists were already on the payroll, most prominently Omar, who was allegedly described as the jewel of the crown, according to the deposition. Well, if that's your jewel, I mean, throw the whole crown out. I mean, you might as well get something from a Cracker Jack box. That's the jewel of your crown, Omar? Wow, must be pretty desperate. Bender's accusations go much further. According to his testimony, Al Masnad said that Qatar recruited Ilhan Omar from even way before she thought about becoming a government official. They groomed her and arranged the foundation, the grounds for her to get into politics way before she even showed interest. They convinced her. For her part, Omar cooperated with the Qataris and received cash payments, he alleges in the deposition. Oh, and then, you know, I guess they weren't paying her enough because she stole from her finance, whatever. What do you call that? The campaign finance. Yeah. Unbelievable. Bender claims that once Omar took office, she used her position in the House of Representatives to access sensitive information, which she relayed to Qatar and through them to Iran. And excerpt, please read the complete. No, we're not going to. Iman Twahidi, known as the I-Man of Peace on Twitter, has been working for months to expose Omar as a foreign agent. He posted a blind item thread in July, starting with this tweet. "This thread will be one of the most important threads I make on Twitter. The illegal case behind this will be exposed with full transparency and full details. For now, I direct the following information to Donald Trump, Vice President Jared Kushner, Donald Trump Jr., and Sean Hannity." In September, Twahidi named Omar as an agent of Qatar in a new Twitter thread. After nearly 30,000 retweets, the time has come to start exposing the truth about Ilhan, Minnesota, and what I had stated in my pinned tweet below in July. This is how the matter will unfold and how she will be exposed for what she really is. So, very interesting. And he goes on. He's got a lot of tweets, which I have been reading over the last while. In this tweet thread, Twahidi wrote about the lawsuit and that Bender had been subpoenaed to testify. Twahidi indicated he planned to leverage the case to expose Omar's tie to Qatar by suggesting questions to the plaintiff's attorney, which he apparently had succeeded in doing. Twahidi also accused Linda Saussure of being involved with Qatar. I wouldn't doubt that at all. So anyway, that is enough for that. That is all coming out in the news recently, very, very recent. So I hope and pray something is done about that, because it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get how these people get into Congress and how they're allowed to stay there, because all of this stuff has come out with all sorts of illegal things she's done: immigration fraud, marriage fraud, all sorts of stuff. I mean, campaign finance fraud, you name it. So anyway, let's go on here. So Omar was a paid foreign agent, is a paid foreign agent. A1, the IT scandal, that was foreign insert. So was the Chinese spy that worked for Diane for 20 years. And this says Clinton server, China relay. Let's take a look at this. Chinese company reportedly hacked Clinton's server, got copy of every email in real time. Now, this is from August 29th, 2018, from U.S. Congressman Louis Gohmert. And a Chinese state-owned company reportedly hacked former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's email server, then inserted code that forwarded them a copy of virtually every email she sent or received after that, a revelation President Trump is demanding be investigated. The Daily Caller reported that the firm operating in the D.C. area wrote code that was then embedded in the server and generated a courtesy copy for almost all her emails, which was then forwarded to the Chinese company. The code reportedly was discovered in 2015 by the Intelligence Community Inspector General, which then warned FBI officials of the intrusion. A source briefed on the matter confirmed to Fox News the details of the caller's reporting and said that the ICIG was so concerned by the revelation that officials drove over to the FBI to inform agents, including anti-Trump agent Peter Strzok, of the development after it was discovered via the email's metadata. The source told Fox News the hack was from a Chinese company, describing it as a front for Chinese intelligence. A second source briefed on the matter told Fox News that officials outside of the FBI indicated code on the Clinton server suggested a foreign source was receiving copies of emails in real time. The hacking report caught the attention late Tuesday of President Trump, who warned that the FBI and DOJ should act on their credibility or their credibility will be gone forever. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hu Changying responded to Trump's tweet saying, "This isn't the first time we've heard similar kinds of allegations. China is a staunch defender of cybersecurity. We firmly oppose and crack down on any forms of internet attacks and the stealing of secrets," she said, according to Reuters. The ICIG and the FBI declined to comment. Well, naturally they would. Clinton's office did not respond to a request for comment, but a spokesman told the Daily Caller the FBI spent thousands of hours investigating and found no evidence of intrusion. That's a fact. Fox News reported in March that Strzok was advised of an irregularity in the metadata of Clinton's server that suggested a possible breach, but no follow-up action was taken. Further, a May 2016 email from Strzok obtained by Fox News earlier this year said, "We know foreign actors obtained access to some Clinton emails, including at least one secret message via compromises of the private email accounts of Clinton staffers." Representative Louis Gohmert asked Strzok in the House Oversight Committee hearing in July whether he was briefed about an anomaly on Clinton's emails found by ICIG officials. "You were given that information and you did nothing with it," Gohmert told Strzok in July. Strzok said he remembered meeting with the ICIG officials but did not remember the contents of the meeting, and that very allegation was forwarded to experts who looked at it carefully. Sure it was. "If there was a lead, I gave it to the team," Strzok said, as part of a heated back and forth between the two. Strzok was fired this month after controversy surrounding anti-Trump texts he sent to FBI lawyer Lisa Page, with whom he was having an affair. Reached by phone Tuesday, Gohmert told Fox News on Tuesday that the emails were obtained by a foreign country's intelligence, but he declined to name the country in question. He said there was no sign that Strzok and the FBI had taken any action when informed by the ICIG, that no indication that they even informed Clinton. He told Fox News he was surprised that his questioning about it in the Strzok hearing in July didn't generate more media attention. Yeah, right, like it would generate media attention. Like, since when do they ever do their job? Only if it's something negative about a Republican or about Trump, then they'll report. But other than that, no. So he was surprised that it didn't generate more media attention, but noted the press seized on a comment he made shortly after when he asked about Strzok, "How many times did you look into your wife's eye and lie about Lisa Page?" Well, we don't care about that. The American people don't care about that. You know, what he did with someone else is between his wife and Lisa Page. But we do care when there are allegations of wrongdoing or mishandling of information that should have been dealt with. And we've got plenty of that. It's critically important, he said, when asked about the significance of the server revelation. There are countries that would pay a tremendous amount of money to know what Clinton was saying, doing, and thinking about her through her emails, what she's doing, who she's going to meet, what she thought about meetings, not necessarily classified, but critical information. And those emails were compromised, and people like Strzok, when they were briefed, knew this would devastate her chances of being elected, and they weren't about to do anything to hurt those chances. The then FBI Director James Comey concluded the FBI's investigation into Clinton's emails in 2016, saying that while Clinton had been extremely careless in her handling of classified information, he would not recommend charges to the DOJ. Well, of course he wouldn't. He doesn't want to end up Arkansided. You know, you don't come out against Hillary Clinton if you want to keep it alive, you know. Everybody knows that. All right, so we've looked at this, and it says VG, I guess that's Valerie Jarrett, direct relay to Iran pre-post Iran deal, future marker. Kerry, John Kerry, I would imagine, direct relay, Iran pre-post Iran deal, future marker. If known, why is it allowed to happen? If known, will there be justice? It's only a matter of time. Q. Why is it allowed to happen? Because the Democrats are, you know, they're all going to stick together, right or wrong. You know, and they're all, it seems like a good many of them are involved in this pay to play, in inserting foreign actors into our government, and all of that. They don't care if they sell America short at all. Doesn't even seem to faze them. All right. Now I wanted to read this by De Oppresso Liber. This information regarding Omar is explosive. We all knew she was a foreign agent. Testimony in civil suit from Kuwaiti-born Alan Bender confirms it. Omar is a female Obama light. Qatari agents groomed her and funded her and put her into office. She has accessed sensitive info and relayed it back to Qatar and ultimately to Iran. Omar is a paid foreign spy. This is heavy. Ask yourself, why is this not front page news? Well, we know why. Maddening. Q reiterates prior drops regarding Feinstein's Chinese driver being a spy. She's known for 20 plus years he was a spy. She is a traitor. China has accessed an unimaginable amount of classified intel via Feinstein and Hillary. It appears Valerie Jarrett and John Kerry were illegally providing intel regarding U.S. plans in relation to Iranian nuclear discussions to Iran during Trump presidency. They may have been ripping off Iran to intel to strengthen their position. Q letting us know that there is more to come on Kerry and Valerie Jarrett treachery, second season. I'm sorry. Q letting us know there is more to come on Kerry and Valerie Jarrett treachery and treason. This was allowed because the entire system was corrupt all the way up to Clinton and Hussein. Iran was used to blackmail surrounding countries and to bleed the U.S. dry of military power and money. These people, the more we find out, really, I understand now when Q says, you know, these people aren't even going to be able to walk down the street anymore. And I think when all this stuff starts coming out, really, I mean, a lot has come out, a lot of stuff that we know. But when the general public starts seeing all this stuff, they're not going to be able to walk down the street. Now, this is the next 3635, and it says Dig Official Secrets. That is a movie. And it Q says sometimes a good movie can provide a lot of truth and or background. Official secrets relevant today? Well, obviously he's asking us that question, but it's not a question. He's saying it's relevant today. Enjoy the show. Cute. So what is this movie? Well, it is, this is the picture of the movie poster, and it says, "Nothing is more dangerous than the truth." That is the truth. And it says, engrossing a slice of real-life espionage. Keira Knightley is electric, and it's called Official Secrets. Now, what is it about? Well, this is interesting. One day in 2003, in the lead up to the Iraq War, British intelligence specialist Catherine Gunn receives a memo from the NSA with a shocking directive. The United States is enlisting Britain's help in collecting compromising information on UN Security Council members to blackmail them into voting in favor of an invasion of Iraq. Unable to stand by and watch the world be rushed into war, Gunn makes the gut-wrenching decision to defy her government and leak the memo to the press. Very, very interesting. Now, this is a fairly new movie. I think it came out at the end of September of this year. So I'm going to try and find it. I don't know if it's still making the rounds with theaters or not, but I'd like to get it and rent it so that I can see exactly what it's about, because obviously Q is wanting us to view it. He's saying sometimes a good movie can provide a lot of truth and or background. So to me, he's suggesting we look at this movie in depth, watch it, because there is a lot of background there to what is happening now. And because he's saying it's relevant today, enjoy the show. So I would like to see that. I don't know if any of you have. If you have, put it in the comments below. But I'm going to try in all my spare time to watch that movie. I'm not a big movie person at all. Not at all. So it takes a lot for me to sit, unless it's something I really want to see, or which is not that often because most of the stuff that comes out is garbage. But that looks like something I would enjoy watching, and you might too. Now let's go to the next one, and that is drop 3636. Fake news links QAnon to Russian bots. Right. So there's a link here, and I couldn't access the link. It's not available in this country. So I did get a screenshot of what is there though, and it says trends pushed by suspected Russian bots during impeachment hearings. So hashtag impeachment hearing, hashtag MAGA, hashtag where we go one, we go all, hashtag QAnon, hashtag Hunter Biden. Now, you know, what they're saying is, yeah, these are Russian bots. I don't think so. Do you really think Russian bots are going to be doing hashtag where we go one, we go all, and QAnon and MAGA? No. So, yeah. Russian bots? Q asks. Yeah, that's my reaction too. Bots? Russian bots? Really? Again? Again with the Russian bots? Why are the biggest media companies in the world continually attacking if we are simply a conspiracy or a LARP, a live action role-playing game? Who controls the media? Well, there are 6 corporations. Who controls the 6? We're going to look at it. Logical thinking, Q. Well, let's go here because we can. Hang on here 1 second, because this gives us a very good breakdown of what's happening with the media. All right. Try to go through this quickly because this is getting late, and you're probably all looking at the clock about now and thinking, she's not going to post tonight. I know she isn't going to post. So let's hurry up with this. So media consolidation, the illusion of choice, and that's all we have. It's the illusion. We have no choice. Media has never been more consolidated. 6 media giants now control a staggering 90% of what we read, watch, or listen to. 6 media giants control 90%. Yeah. 1, consolidation. In 1983, 90% of American media was owned by 50 companies. That's just 1983. 2011, the same 90% is controlled by 6 companies. Those 6 companies are GE, and they have Comcast, NBC, Universal Pictures, and Focus Features. News Corp, they have Fox, Wall Street Journal, New York Post. Disney, they have ABC, ESPN, Pixar, Miramax, Marvel Studios. Viacom has MTV, Nick Jr., BET, CMT, Paramount Pictures. Time Warner has CNN, HBO, Time, Warner Brothers. And CBS has Showtime, Smithsonian Channel, NFL.com, Jeopardy, 60 Minutes. 232 media executives control the information diet of 277 million Americans. Just think of that. 232 media executives. That's not a lot. And they're controlling the information diet of 277 million Americans. That's one media exec to 850,000 subscribers. An audience the size of San Francisco. So, total 2010 revenue for the Big Six was $275.9 billion, and I can only imagine that it has gone way up from there. That's 36 billion more than Finland's GDP, enough to buy every NFL team 12 times, and 5 times the government bailout of General Motors. That gives you some perspective. Television, the Big Six control. 70% of your cable is controlled by those 6. 3,762 businesses contribute 30%. Comcast NBC merger guarantees control of 1 of every 5 hours of television. Monopoly of 11 U.S. markets like New York City and Chicago. 3. News, 178 million unique users read Time Warner News every month. That's 2 times Dig, Tumblr, and Reddit combined, and almost 3 times Google News. News Corp owns the top newspaper on 3 continents. So Wall Street Journal, of course, North America, the Sun, the UK, the Australia. So yeah, that's pretty wild. They own the top newspaper on 3 continents. In 2010, they avoided $875 million in U.S. taxes. Enough to double FEMA's budget or fund NPR for 40 years. Radio. In 1995, the FCC forbade companies to own over 40 stations, yet Clear Channel owns 1,200 stations. In Minot, North Dakota, they own every station. Everywhere else in the United States, 80% of stations playlist match. Mrs. Robinson has aired 6 million times. That's 32 years of back-to-back nonstop play, listening to Mrs. Robinson for the first time, age 3, still listening to Mrs. Robinson 32 years later at age 35. Yeah, that's a lot of Mrs. Robinson. 5 movies. The Big Six box office sales hit $7 billion in 2010. That's 2 times the box office sales of the next 140 studios. Yeah, so $7 billion, just these 6, and $3.5 billion, all these. Right. Mergers. AOL spent $124 billion to buy Time Warner in 2001. That's 6 times what Congress funded to rebuild Iraq. Enabled by FCC, deregulation, and decades-long orgy of mergers and acquisitions, these 6 giants dominate our media landscape. Until regulations return or they buy each other out of existence, they will continue to control 90% of everything Americans see, hear, and consider important. So yeah, that kind of explains why we see the exact same thing everywhere. You know, they get their talking points and it just gets disseminated to 90% of everything Americans see, hear, and consider important. So 90% of Americans are, well, 90% of what every American's seeing, they're seeing the exact same stuff that the mainstream, the narrative they want to push out. That's what they're seeing. They don't have an opportunity to not see it, because these 6 companies own everything, 90% of everything Americans see, hear, or consider important. Unbelievable. So I guess listening to alternative news sources is a revolutionary thing to do when you think of it that way. So, all right. I think that is enough of that. And I've got like a zillion things open here. All right. Now let's go back here. And I do believe that is the last of Q. Now, I would like to get some news out tonight, and I may do that. I don't know. I'm going to see by the time I get this uploaded and everything how I'm doing here, and if possible, I will come back and do at least a short video on some news items. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. And I'm so sorry that I've neglected you for the last little bit, but I promise it's going to get much better. I just had a lot of things. My mother had a car accident, and people are sick. Both my parents are sick, and I've got a friend that doesn't drive that is deathly ill. So it's just, I've been running and running. So anyway, I will be doing a much better, I will be getting much better at being more timely. I'm really going to try and work on that. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and you take care, stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth, because deception bites right in the hinder parts.